What's up, party people? It's Dan, your basement guitar superstar. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I have some more footage from NAMM. Actually, no, I don't. I published all of it, except for the Gibson Garage video, which you will see shortly. But I wanted to give you kind of my final thoughts on NAMM 2021 SummerNAMM. This was my first NAMM, so I don't have anything else to compare it to. Let me start off by saying it was a wonderful experience. I made a lot of new friends. I made some great connections for the channel as far as getting verbal agreements for doing work in the future. I met a lot of really cool people that I kind of idolize. Like, for instance, Brian Wampler was fantastic. He gave me his ear for about 20 minutes and gave me some really great advice, too, on the channel, things to try. So you'll notice I am at a background that is much closer to the wall, so I don't have a light shining, blinding you guys above me. That's one of the suggestions he gave, among other ones, but it is a good one. So I'm going to start incorporating some of that. And he was super encouraging. Met the guys from Casino Guitars, one of my favorite channels. I'll post a link to their stuff in the comments or in the description. They were fantastic. I met a lot of other content creators too that are individuals, like Greg Campbell from Angry Tone Riff Clips. He's a funny dude. He's a great guy. He and I hit it off like that. So I hung out with him quite a bit. We went to the Gibson Garage together, had lunch together, etc. Really good dude. Scott Schwertly and his wife Brittney. Scott's the CEO of Siren Pedals. I already knew he was a great dude, but his wife is awesome too. And they actually got me in on one of their guest passes. So Scott and Brittney, if you're watching this, thank you so much. You guys are awesome people, and I am blessed to count you among my friends, for sure. So they were fantastic, but I kind of already knew that about Scott. And truck driver Sean was hilarious. I felt like he and I hit it off pretty good. He had me literally almost peeing my pants laughing a couple times. Just a funny, genuine dude that says whatever comes to his brain and has no filter, and it's freaking hilarious. I love that guy. He's hilarious. And a hell of a guitar player too, and gave me some great advice on the channel, different miking techniques to try and things like that I'm going to implement from now on. Obviously not in this video. I'm just using my cheapo mic with my Casso camera because there's no reason to set up my interface because I'm not going to be actually playing for you. So that was, truck driver Sean was awesome. I met Arnold from Arnold Plays Guitar, who I was extremely impressed with. Super good dude. The guy is just an insane guitarist. Just absolutely insane. Can chug circles around anybody. And just a genuinely good dude who works for the betterment of other people and other channels. And I know he had posted a link to my channel in the description of his final analysis for NAMM. So Arnold, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate the great advice you gave me while we were there. And I made a new friend there, so I'm pretty happy about that. Who else, man? I met a lot of vendors too. The guys over at Base 4 Stands were really cool. I didn't meet them until day 2. And day 1, they were kind of tucked back in the corner. And I didn't really know what they were doing. And then day 2, I discovered them. We'll talk about that a little bit once I show you the haul. Met Chad from Wingman Effects. He's super cool. We chatted for a little bit with him. Mike and the other guy who I'm apologize, other guy. I cannot freaking remember your name. The redhead dude that was hanging out that works for Mike over at Native Audio was fantastic as well. They're good dudes. Chase from Gullet Guitars is awesome. Nathan over at Chesbro, they're the distributor for Teton. Patrick over at Tajima was amazing. Derek, who I can't remember his last name, but he gave me this little thing to try. for, it's like, it's supposed to help with tuning stability on guitars and stuff without having to have a Floyd. And I'm actually going to have to take the mic off and go get that in a minute here because I forgot to get it out of my bag, and it's part of the haul for this week. Rick Taylor from RBI Music was just fantastic. I had corresponded with him via email because they distribute vintage guitars, who obviously that's my favorite line of guitars. I own 7 of them. And Rick was just amazing. Awesome guy, wealth of knowledge. I actually didn't know he used to be a session musician in Nashville. But a great dude. He and I hit it off really well. So I'm glad I have that relationship now too, and he and I kind of know each other on a first name basis now. Let's see, who else was there? Oh yeah, Israel Malachi over at Puritan Amps. Fantastic guy. If you did not get a chance to stop by his booth, he is, in addition to being a hell of a musician, he is a hell of an amp builder and a hell of a guy too. He and I chatted for a little bit during some downtimes, and he's a super interesting guy. He does this thing. He's from Duluth, Minnesota, and they do this thing where, like, it's called Duluth Does Whatever. And so they'll pick a musician or a group, like Duluth does Led Zeppelin or Duluth does the Beatles. I'm just giving you an example. I can't remember which one he said they're doing this year. But then all the individual bands will pick one song of that group to do and perform it. And it sounds really cool. And Duluth, I know traditionally from what I've heard, has had a great music scene. So he was totally awesome. The guys over at Groove Tech, Dan and Bill, father-son team, those guys were really cool and gave me a hell of a deal on their guitar setup kit. And I picked up some stuff for Luther, your buddy of mine, Dad Shoemaker over at Shoemaker Guitar Works. That reminds me, in that video, I forgot to mention that Troy Anderson from Anderson Brothers Guitars also works on my guitars as well, and he is an amazing at doing setups and building guitars and stuff too. And I felt really bad. I forgot to mention Troy, and I meant to. So yeah, he was great. Gosh, who else did I talk to? Cody over at Westminster Effects seemed pretty cool. I think I'm going to end up doing some of his pedals on the channel at some point, so look for those. Jamie and Junior from Jet Pedals seemed pretty cool. I chatted with them for a little bit. And, oh yeah, I met Ryan from 60 Cycle Hum. He's a great guy. Chatted with me for about 15-20 minutes. We just talked shop a little bit, some editing stuff that I was wanting to know how he did it on his end, and he was gracious enough to share that knowledge with me. So Ryan, thank you for that. If you, by some act of God, you're watching this. Emily from Get Offset was also there. She was pretty cool. But anyway, guys, that's the end of the shout-outs. If I forgot you and you're watching this, I apologize profusely. That I have not forgotten about you in my heart, just in my mind while I'm recording this video. But anyway, guys, this is my first NAMM as a small potatoes content creator, meaning I have less than 1,000 subs, so I'm obviously small potatoes, at least in my mind anyway, or less than 500. Let's go with that. Normally, I've heard NAMM is very, very crazy, absolutely insane. Arnold from Arnold Plays Guitar was telling me about how NAMM's usually about twice the size it was this summer. A lot of vendors didn't show up. They didn't even know it was going to happen until 2 months before the whole in-person thing. So I guess a lot of vendors didn't sign up this year, which is kind of sad. But I don't have anything else to compare it to, but I know the size that it was this year was absolutely perfect for me, and here's why. So, when I think about NAMM, especially Winter NAMM, which was not this one, obviously, Winter NAMM is in LA. There's a bajillion people there, apparently. All of the giant channels are there, right? They're all there. They're all making their connections with their people. Honestly, if I was in that environment, I would get drowned out. Nobody would pay attention to me. I probably wouldn't be able to make that many connections unless, like Lee Fuge or Mike over at China Guitar Skeptic or Ben Coombs or one of those guys introduced me to some people. I would probably get drowned out, honestly. Wouldn't be able to make any connections at all, or hardly any. I'd probably have to shout over people, I'm guessing. So what this NAMM was great for, it was busy, but it wasn't like totally swamped, right? There were periods where things were kind of dead. Other periods where there was a huge rush, especially at some of the boutique guitar pedal places. There were lots of boutique builders there, which was really cool. You had Alexander Effects there, Westminster, Cusack Music was there, Siren Pedals, and a bunch of others that I know you know their names. Native Audio is obviously a boutique builder. Mike was there with his stuff. Wingman Effects, who does the Danger Zone pedal, we'll talk about in a little bit. But the nice thing about it being like a half capacity show, was there weren't that many big channels there. I think the biggest YouTubers that were there were Gear Gods, who I don't even know who they are, and I didn't actually see them there. And then Ryan Burke from 60 Cycle Hum has like 80,000 subs, right? And he was only there for one day. Same with Emily from Good Offset, unless she was there on the second day and I just didn't see her. But the nice thing about that, and Arnold plays guitar, and Arnold and I talked about this a little bit too, is I felt like that worked to my advantage, especially as a small channel, because those guys kind of took me under wing, like him and Truck Driver Sean and Greg Campbell from Angry Tone Riff Clips. Let me hang out with them, introduced me to some people that I otherwise probably wouldn't have met. And it was nice because I was actually able to have good conversations with people such as Brian Wampler and Siren Pedals, Jet Pedals, Westminster Effects, Native Audio, Chesbro. I got to talk to all these vendors that probably would have either ignored... I don't know if they would have ignored me, but I would have been less of a focus for them than some of the bigger content creators would have been, I think. And for me, that's huge, because now I have all these connections that I can go back next year and know who these people are, create content for them. They've seen me before, they're familiar with me, and I felt like I got my foot in the door with a lot more people than I would have had it been a gigantic show like it normally apparently is. So anyway, enough of that. I've talked way too long, guys. I know you want to see the stuff that I came back with. So we're going to show you that. First thing is I got more t-shirts than I know what to do with. So here's what I ended up with. Rick Taylor hooked me up with a Silvertone t-shirt. I know t-shirts aren't super sexy for you guys. I bought a Danger Zone pedal from Wingman Effects, so I got to choose either the black or blue t-shirt, so I ended up with a blue one because of that. Gullet Guitars, who I was extremely impressed by Chase's builds, hooked me up with one of their shirts. So I ended up with 3 t-shirts, got some koozies. This one's especially cool. You get one of these for buying the Danger Zone pedal. This is the Danger Zone pedal. You guys have probably seen it on Instagram. I'm not going to open it up in front of you right now because I want you to go watch. I told Chad that I would do an unboxing of this that's its own separate video, and I intend on keeping that promise, so I'm going to do that and not open it in front of you guys right now. So I got that. I got this accessory, which it actually goes with what is in this case right here. So if you guys watch the video, excuse me, if you watch the video on Base 4 Stands, that's actually who that came from. I talked to them. I said, hey, this concept is absolute killer. I want to be on the list for when it goes to retail. Because when they told me the price, I'm like, dude, that is cheaper than most mic stands that people consider good that are actually pieces of shit. And I have a love-hate relationship with mic stands, especially having started out as a drummer. I have not found one that's not an irritating pain in the ass until I saw those at their booth. And I asked to be on the list for when they go to retail, and they apparently believe in what I'm doing. They like the channel, felt like I was a good guy, and they actually sent me home with this. I didn't pay a dime for it, even though I offered them. So thank you guys, Todd and NAMM. I really appreciate that. I'm going to do several videos with this thing. I'm going to be using it to mic the amps and have whatever mic I'm using for voice off camera for you guys. So that's a pretty cool piece of gear. And then I got Groove Tech was selling these kits where it's a guitar player tech kit. I bought one of these for myself for at home. So like if Thad Shoemaker or Troy Anderson, the two guys that work on my guitars, are not available or they can't get to something as quick as I need it, I can work on stuff myself and just kind of do basic setups. I have no intention of doing them for other people, just working on my own guitars. And then I bought the same kit for Thad Shoemaker upon his request, and then got him 2 different size truss rod wrenches as he requested. So I got that, and then the find of the century. I'm actually going to pick up the camera here and show this to you guys. So you probably recognize the color Tolex on that from the video on Puritan amps. Well, Israel Malachi and I made a deal, and I ended up coming home with this guy. So this is the Puritan Model 1. Is one of the best sounding tube amps I've ever heard in my life, and I just had to have one. We made a deal on this. I'm going to use it on the channel a ton because I actually like the way it sounds almost as much, if not more, than my trainer. So look for this on the channel. It's a 15 watt tube amp with 2 different channels on that are bright and normal, and yeah, pretty easy circuit. Tone volume, or tone and 2 volumes, I should say. And it's got a fuse, an on-off switch, and standby on it. So that's pretty rad. I'm going to do a full deep dive and a first impression on that at some point too, but you guys saw that here first, and then he had this cover for it. And then again, we will unbox the Danger Zone at another time. But anyway, guys, I had a wonderful time at NAMM. I made a lot of good new friends, made a lot of great vendor connections that I know are going to translate into me having opportunities for the channel, both now and in the future. If not now, you know, sometime in the near future. So if you're watching this and you are a part of that group that kind of took me under wing there, you know, I really appreciate all of you. I had a fantastic time, and I am definitely planning on going back to SummerNAMM. That's definitely my bag. Even if it was twice that size, I wouldn't have felt drowned out by anybody. I would have felt like I was part of the group, like I belong there. And that was huge for me because I was super nervous the night before, not really knowing anybody. Like Greg Campbell and I had kind of chatted before on like Instagram and stuff because we both have done work for some similar pedal builders. But I didn't know he was that awesome of a dude until I met him in person. Same with truck driver Sean, great. Arnold plays guitar, fantastic. Brian Wampler is like the nicest dude ever. Like so nice he makes Barney the dinosaur look like an asshole. Nice. But yeah, anyway guys, I've rambled on way too long. This video is approaching 20 minutes. But I had a wonderful time at NAMM. I don't know going forward if the show's going to be bigger, if they're going to keep it about the same size. Hopefully it's going to be bigger in the future. and the state of the industry will continue to grow. Boutique pedal builders will continue to have access to shows like this at reasonable prices. But anyway, it was a wonderful time, and I'm looking forward to going again next year. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, thank you for the support. If you're watching and you have not subscribed to the channel yet, go back and watch some of my other videos. And if you feel like they're informative or funny or even cringy but still entertaining, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. I really appreciate it. And make sure you hit the little bell symbol so you know when I have additional content coming up. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about the haul, what you're most looking forward to me getting on the channel, etc., etc. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and have fun playing.